Isaiah Thomas is back. We've recently seen him make his return to the G League, in which he completely dominated, averaging 32 points per game. We've talked about it on stream a couple of times, both of us agreeing if there's a chance to bring him in for a 10-day, you have absolutely nothing to lose as the Suns organization, who's currently rocking with Saben Lee, a two-way player, as the only true point guard on the roster. In my opinion, Bradley Beal's doing great at point guard, but the need for a backup has been there, and the Suns might have, on the cheap, solved that issue. Make fun of me all you want in the comments. I am excited about Isaiah Thomas. And Sundo, he was with the Suns the year before you became a Suns fan. So let me just remind you and anyone else. The Suns struggled for a long time to get any serious talent to come to Phoenix. Robert Sarver made this place very unappealing. After Steve Nash left, there was truly no appeal. Because with Nash, it was like, well, if I go play there, my stats are going to get inflated and I can go get a payday somewhere else. The Suns having such a hard time finding talent to put on the roster, real talent, had to settle for whatever they could get. First, it was the trade for Mr. I don't want to be here himself, Eric Bledsoe. That was difficult enough for Goran Dragic to deal with, but he was a true professional. He figured out how to make it work, and the two of them had a fierce backcourt, Sundo. They were cooking. They were statistically up there with some great names, and the Suns needed to bring in more talent. So what did they do? They brought in another point guard, a 5'9" point guard that would only further take the ball out of those two guys' hands, completely jam it up. I think this is one of the reasons why Ryan McDonough got fired, at the end of his tenure. That's not to say that Isaiah Thomas wasn't balling for Phoenix. The Suns were able to end up getting a first-round pick when they traded him to Boston for Marcus Thornton and that first-round pick, like I was saying. He gets injured, misses out on a big payday with Boston, injured, bounces around. He's had that hip injury, and he looks incredible in the G League, Sundo.
He absolutely looks incredible in the G League. And as you mentioned, that hip injury has been plaguing him. I mean, let's just be honest, for the majority of his career. We were just talking about it, like what kept him out. We were looking back through the stats, and I mean, from 2018 to 2022, I mean, that hip injury was just lingering there, and teams were just afraid to take a huge chance on him. We see him in the G League. He looks great. It looks like the hip's not an issue. And then lo and behold, the Suns get him on a 10-day contract. And I'm with you, man. I'm absolutely excited for this. I think this is just what the doctor ordered for the Suns. He's not going to play 30 minutes on this team. He's going to play maybe 22 minutes a game, backup point guard. He looked at his highlights. He's going to facilitate. He's going to be able to get a bucket. Having a player like that off the bench is going to bode well for this team if it works out. Let me add that here because I know we are so excited that we're just already looking. We're already looking to the playoffs, my friend, because it's just such an exciting signing for us. But we got to see how he works with the team. We got to see if Frank even wants to play him. I don't see why Frank wouldn't. He's a veteran player, knows what he's doing. I think they just want to see what he looks like with his team for 10 days, see how he fits in, see if it works out, see if he's still got some juice. I believe he does. And like I said, once again, there's not going to be a large burden on him to prove himself either. I absolutely love this 10-day contract signing.
So I hate to disagree with you, but I must. I am not confident that he's going to be playing 22 minutes a game because Frank will likely stand in the way of that. There should be a link between the GM and owner bring a guy in, therefore we get a look at him. Then Frank says,
You didn't say the magic word.
And I hope and pray we see him for close to 22 minutes a game because he was averaging 37 minutes a game in his 4 games for the G League. So he can play. He looks fully healthy. Let's just be completely honest. He's for the first time, fully healthy. You can see it in his play. You can see the way his legs are working. Nothing is wrong with him right now. He's playing heavy minutes. He's averaging 32 points per game. He's shooting in the G League, of course, almost 15 threes per game and hitting 6 per game. It's almost 41% from 3. He's got 5.7 assists per game to 2.7 turnovers, while you can see he has just been showcasing beautiful passing and his basketball IQ is there. The G League looks way too easy and way too slow for him, and he's obviously a 0 as a defender. Let's be completely honest. The man cannot play defense, but he is averaging 1.3 steals per game in the G League. He's obviously giving some effort. I'm okay with him being a non-factor on defense, considering he would be the backup or the third stringer to come in, and you're not usually getting good defense from those players anyways. And it's just about having someone to come in to help orchestrate the offense so that there's not just turnover in crunch time.
To your point, also look who he would end up playing with. He would always be on the court with a Beal or a Booker or a Royce O'Neal or a Josh Okogie, 2 players that you would automatically depend on defending, right? So he would be a fit in that aspect. And I got to disagree with you, sir, about Frank Vogel not wanting to play him. I feel like this might have been a thing that they were waiting for, because we kept asking all season, when we need to get a point guard. We need to get a point guard. We need to get a point guard. Why is Saben Lee getting minutes? We got Tio Maladon. How come we are not seeing him playing? And I mean, it really does seem like they were looking for a point guard, whether it was a younger option or maybe they wanted to see if Saben Lee would come into form. And we saw glimpses from Saben Lee, but as of recently, we have not seen Saben Lee play much. We've been asking, okay, why is he not playing now? He seems to be already just off of Frank's lists. Done. Frank's done with him, it seems like. I feel like this was a conscientious move by both of them. You mentioned a GM and coach need to be working in step. I feel like this was one of those moves. IT is the exact kind of player that I think Frank wants, a veteran who he's not going to have to handhold to do his job, basically. Yes, you mentioned the defensive thing, but as I mentioned, he's going to be playing with dudes that are going to be playing defense. All he's going to do is bring the ball up the court, facilitate. If he's got to get a bucket, he can get a bucket. And that's honestly what we need. We just need not to fall flat in those minutes where we don't have KD and Booker on the court at the same time, or KD and Beal on the court at the same time. And I think he'll provide that.
I mean, bottom line, he's an absolute walking bucket. He's always had a great shot. He knows how to out leverage players that should have way more leverage than him by getting them up in the air, bumping them, and moving away and finishing around them. He's just incredible. I'm so happy he's healthy. I would be happy if any team signed Isaiah Thomas so that I could get to watch him play again, let alone my favorite team has just signed him. And not only that, my favorite team, in my opinion, not everyone's, needed a point guard. Didn't have to be a bucket getter, but I'm glad it is. They needed somebody who knew how to run an offense, and I also think very highly of him in that role.
With the news of Damian Lee, while we're not so sure about him coming back before the end of the season, I feel like this was also a move for that as well. So we need to keep an eye out on what Damian Lee and Josh Okogie are doing toward the end of the season as well, because I feel like them knowing what's going on with Damian Lee and Josh Okogie also played a hand in this decision to get IT.
Tell us what you guys think in the comments. Are you excited to have Isaiah Thomas back, or do you feel like this is just a nothing burger that doesn't move the needle for you at all? No judgment if that's how you feel. We'll see you guys Sunday afternoon for the live stream versus the Bucks. Till then, go Suns.